Hey guys, what is up? This is the Fast Break Report here, bringing you guys another vlog. So please watch the full video. I'm gonna say that. Okay, this is a video. I'm gonna give you my honest opinion on certain shit. There's gonna be people who don't like it, but I'm gonna be as objective as possible here. I'm not gonna try to be biased. I'm just going to share an experience I had at work today, and give some insight as well. But I'm going to explain some things to Pacers fans because you know what? A lot of people are talking about the Pacers recently, all right? Like our offseason moves were great. I think they were definitely very, very good. It's got regular NBA fans excited to actually watch our team, which is great for us. I think that's great because when casual NBA fans want to watch our team, that means NBA players want to watch our team. You know, I think there's this closed-minded conception in the Pacers community, or at least with a lot of NBA fans, that it's like, you know, players don't pay attention to other teams, or like they're not fans of the game just as much as we are. And that couldn't be any further from the truth. Like, you know how many NBA players watch the Pacers games and like watch Charlotte Hornets games, and you know how many teams are going to be watching Portland this year and the Rockets and stuff like that because they have all this young talent. Detroit, like, young teams are exciting to watch, regardless of if you're a player or if you're a fan. Like, you enjoy watching exciting basketball. If you do this for a fucking living, basketball is your life, okay? And these players, NBA players alike, are going to be watching us more this year. And I just think to myself, this is going to be great because it means somebody might actually want to come here. And for whatever reason, like, I look at our roster and I'm like, okay, in the past 2 weeks, we've addressed a lot of issues with our team. Like, our third string roster right now looks like, what, TJ McConnell, fucking Jarris Walker, who else? Isaiah Jackson, Ben Shepherd, and I don't know who the fuck else. It's just like Aaron Nesmith. like our third stringers are pretty fucking good, okay? And I look at this team and I just think to myself, man, like, we shored up our depth issues and we shored up our defensive issues for the most part during the draft and in free agency. Okay, Bruce Brown Jr. is on our team now. Great defender, 6'4", can defend positions like 1 through 4. And he's on I get we paid quite a bit for him, but it's just the idea, like, the first year's worth $22 million, the second year's a team option. So even if we don't fucking want him anymore, we can just take a flyer on him and ditch him next year. So we have a lot of defense on our team now, more than I think people realize. We have Jarris Walker, right, who's pretty much specifically known for defense. We have Aaron Nesmith, who's a solid defender who can defend the 4 of all things. We have Tyrese Halliburton's a decent defender. TJ McConnell's a decent defender. Bruce Brown Jr. is a decent defender. We'll even throw Myles in there, even though I don't think Myles is the greatest defender in the world as people make him out to be, but Myles is on our team. So we got defensive pretty quickly, and we got exciting pretty quickly. And it's astonishing to me how infatuated Pacers fans get with guys that are, yeah, maybe starters for us, but are like rotational players on contending teams. Buddy Hield is a sixth man on like pretty much any team that's contending for a title. You know, if Max Strus got 4 years, $64 million, I'm pretty sure Buddy's going to get in that ballpark of 4 years, 80, okay? And TJ McConnell's a guy that we're paying, let's see, upwards of $8.5 million a year to be our third string point guard. Great defender. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's solid. Tyrese Halliburton touts, you know, how great he is in practice at playing defense and how hard he is to play against, and that's fine. But I think to myself, like, okay, we have Andrew Nembhard, who can clearly play backup point guard better than TJ McConnell can. We have Jarris Walker on our roster. We still have Aaron Nesmith. So why are we so worried about defense now at this point? Like, what is it with specifically Myles Turner that everybody loves so much? Because, like, I look at this team and I'm like, I understand why people are infatuated with, like, Buddy Hield. Like, the infatuation with Buddy Hield kind of makes sense. Because it's like, okay, people watch him play and they think he's, like, the second coming of fucking Reggie Miller. Okay? And, like, I understand that. But Buddy Hield isn't really good at anything else. Okay, like, yeah, he's great at catch and shoot threes. He's great at shooting threes off the dribble. Arguably, like, the best in the league at it outside of Stephen Curry. And I just think to myself, we're in a situation where it's not a matter of if we trade Buddy Hield, but when. Because I don't think we're going to take Buddy Hield over re-signing Benedict Mathurin or re-signing Jarris Walker or bringing back Obi Toppin. I just don't think it's going to happen. Ben Shepherd's another guy that we drafted that I think that's like criminally fucking underrated. Was he the pick that I wanted? No. I didn't even know who the fuck he was until we drafted him. But I've seen some tape and I'm like, okay, like he held his own very well against like some of the top prospects in the draft. And he's obviously our Buddy Hield replacement. I know people don't want to hear that, but yeah, that's what he is, the Buddy Hield replacement. Because Buddy Hield's going to get offered a bag this upcoming offseason by somebody, and it's up to us to like determine when we're going to trade him. It's not really a matter of if we're going to trade him, but a matter of when we're going to trade him. Because I think Buddy Hield enjoys playing with Tyrese Halliburton. I really do. But do I think he enjoys playing with Tyrese Halliburton so much that he's willing to sign here for fucking, nickels and dimes? No, I don't think so. We saw it in Sacramento. Buddy likes to get paid. Buddy's going to get paid. All right? And it's not going to be by us. So we might as well get what we can for him. So that's Buddy Hield. Now we get on to Myles Turner. And this is where people are really going to get pissed. And that's fine because like anytime I bring up trading Myles Turner, like people just like lose their fucking mind. And I'm going to say this, okay? There is some truth to the things that people say about Myles. Okay, that push back against what I think. There's truth to it. Yeah, he's on a team-friendly deal. He shoots threes well. He blocks shots. Has he reached, even the idea that he hasn't even reached his peak yet, I would agree, okay? But the thing is, Myles Turner, for us, has been a 13-7 guy for like 5 fucking years. Last year, okay, 17-8. But he also needed to have like an all-star level point guard playing the point guard position for us to even see that. And there's been times in the past where Myles has had the opportunity to show us that he can be the franchise cornerstone of our team. And he just hasn't delivered. Okay? I'm going to go as far to say that, you know what? If Myles Turner went 17-8 this past season, he's going to go 17-8 again this season. I don't think there's a lot of room for improvement there, especially when you consider the idea that Ben Mathurin is probably going to get way more shot attempts than Myles Turner is going to get. And when you include the idea that we now have Obi Toppin, who Tyrese Halliburton appears to be very excited about, I think even Obi Toppin is going to get more shot attempts than Myles Turner this year. Because, like, not for nothing, but it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like it makes sense to take the ball away from Myles and Buddy to get Benedict Mathurin and Obi Toppin more shots because they're younger guys. And I think that's what's going to happen, if I'm being honest with you. But when it comes to Myles, there's something very special that has happened to me in the last 3 days that I would like to discuss with you. Okay? And this is how I know I'm right. Like this is if there's anything that tells me that I'm fucking right about Myles Turner, it was this moment, like literally today, okay? I got a new guy working with me. Okay, his name is Yancey. And he's from New York City, and he happens to be a Knicks fan. So, I guess by victim of circumstance, it just happens to be that I'm a Pacers fan. And we have very good conversations about the sport. He's a true connoisseur of the sport. He's a Knicks fan, but he's not like a hater because of like the 90s. Like he wasn't even I don't even think he was born when the Reggie Miller Knicks rivalry with Spike Lee and shit like that. Like I don't even think he was around for that. But it's just the idea, like I was speaking to him today and he was talking about the Obi Toppin trade, right? And he was like, I can't believe we traded you Obi Toppin for 2 fucking high schoolers, like, that are in, like, 10th and 11th grade. Like, that's fucking mind-blowing to me. But then he followed it up by saying, he's like, you guys are very good, but you need to trade Myles Turner. And I paused for a minute. I was like, okay. I'm like, hold on. I'm like, before you say anything else, I'm like, I'm not going to tell you my opinion on Myles Turner, but I want to hear what you have to say. Like, I'm not going to say anything. Like, you can say whatever you want. You can say he sucks more dick than a Filipino hooker for all I care. I was like, I just want to hear what you have to say about Myles Turner as a Knicks fan. So he looks at me and he says, well, He says, Myles is very good at shooting threes. He's very good at blocking shots. He says he doesn't box out well. He's not really a good individual defender. He's not a good rebounder. He's a guy that doesn't get better, it seems. He says, honestly, he's like, the Lego things are actually pretty funny. And I'm like, dude, this Jens, I'm like, yo, this kid, he could go out in the parking lot right now and shoot somebody in the fucking chest and murder them, and I would vouch for him at work now. I'd be like, you know what? Yancey ain't free Yancey. He ain't do shit. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, I was like, okay, this is a guy like after my own heart now, like, because he actually watches the fucking sport. And he goes, yeah, he's like, Myles is an okay player. He's like, but he would benefit a lot from a different situation. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I 100% agree. Because Myles is a guy that is not going to lead a team. Like, we can all agree, Myles is not the leader of this fucking team. Tyrese Halliburton is. We've seen time and time again players come in who just progress faster than Myles. Sabonis did it. Oladipo did it. Ben Matherin's doing it. Tyrese Halliburton's doing it. Andrew Nembhard is doing it. Like, Myles is not a guy who shows significant improvement year over year. And when you look at this, you just have, like, I'm sorry, but usually after year 3 or 4, like after year 3, like in that year 3, year 4, you see if a guy's going to be good or not. Myles has been the same fucking guy for like 7 years straight now. And we had to get Tyrese Halliburton to free up the entire fucking court for him so he could just average 17 and 8. And Yancey says to me, he's like, Myles Turner would benefit greatly from going to a team that he doesn't have to defend the paint on. Like if he went to Golden State, if he went to the Milwaukee Bucks, if he went, hell, even to Minnesota, where like he's not, you could have Rudy Gobert in the paint and have Myles just sit out on the 3-point line. He'd be a great stretch big. Like he would, and in fact, he's like, you might actually see Myles improve in a situation like that where he's just not the main guy. And I have to agree. I don't know if his stats would improve because like obviously if he goes to a team like Golden State or if he goes to a team like Milwaukee or any of those teams, even Minnesota, like he's going to be the third option. And that's what I've been trying to explain to Pacers fans for a very long time. Like Myles is like a starter on our team. And on a lot of other teams, he's just a rotational player. And like he's like even Yancey said to me today, like I didn't expect this at all. Like this was the thing that shocked me the most. He says, I watched Myles Turner play against Nikola Vucevic a lot this year. He says, I may be a Knicks fan, but I like watching the Bulls too. And he says, whenever Myles Turner has to play against a center that's capable of shooting jump shots, he gets absolutely destroyed. He's like, and honestly, he says, that's why I say he's not a good defender. He's like, because he says, if you watch him play against Bam Adebayo kills him with free throw line jump shots. Nikola Vucevic kills him with threes. DeAndre Ayton's another guy that knows that if he gets Myles Turner away from the basket, he can just shoot jumpers on him and beat him. He says, and Myles, he's like, when he has to play against guys like in the past, like for example, Andre Drummond, guys who are willing to get physical with him, he gets his fucking lunch eaten regardless. He's like, to be fair, if you look up on StatMuse, Andre Drummond for his career averages 15 and 16 against Myles for his career. There's a handful of players that significantly outperform Myles every time they've played against him. And I said, I'm like, you know what? I think you're right. He's like, honestly, the best thing for the Pacers to do would be to trade Myles for, like, and this is the one that's going to piss everyone off, Karl Anthony Towns. I was like, dude, like, I literally said to him at this point, like, dude, have you been watching my fucking YouTube videos or something? Like at that point, I was like, dude, have you been watching my fucking YouTube videos? He's like, you have a YouTube channel? I'm like, yeah, because I've been saying we should trade Myles to the Minnesota Timberwolves and, like, Buddy Hield or somebody for Karl Anthony Towns for, like, a week and a half now. I said, I've been saying it for months. And he goes, well, he's like, you should. He's like, because he's like, Karl Anthony Towns, he's like, at this point with what the Pacers are trying to do, he's like, you've addressed your depth, you've addressed your defense in the past 2 weeks. He's like, what you really need is another star. And he's like, Karl Anthony Towns, yeah, not the greatest defender in the world, but he shoots the three. The pick and roll game would be fucking phenomenal. He rebounds, he can bang down low. He's like, yeah, he gets injured a lot, but like, I know that like Karl Anthony Towns has played more career games than Myles Turner. So this injury argument that people constantly make is kind of fucking insane to me. But even he said, he's like, even Paul George, which is another guy I've been advocating for. He's like, even if you brought Paul George back, like, you're a playoff team now. Like, you're easily like better than a play-in team. He's like, yeah, you might actually be a play-in team depending on how your season goes. But he's like, yeah, he's like, your team is like, you could benefit a lot from either like a decent wing or another, just a guy in the front court who can go out and get you 20. And I'm like, thank you. I was like, Yancey, I was like, I don't care what you do the rest of today. I'm going to go tell my boss, Kim, that you're the greatest fucking employee we've ever hired. So, but it's just the idea, like, it was just, for me, it was like almost like it was shocking that a fucking Knicks fan understands what's wrong with our team, but Pacers fans don't. And honestly, Pacers fans don't want to hear it. That's the thing. Pacers fans don't want to hear the idea that the guy who swears up and down by blue and gold, averages 13 and 7, and takes less money to be here is a guy that, you know, we should trade. And I understand that in some ways. From a morale standpoint, like, I understand what you guys are saying. I do. He's on a team-friendly deal. He's pretty good for what he gets paid. Like, I get that. And I understand there's not even a lot of guys out there that, like, would really be super better than him. But, like, at the same time, I think to myself, I'm like, dude, if we could just get, like, Ivanka Zubac or, like, I don't know, hell, even fucking Mark Williams or something. Like, just get another center that, like, actually cares about rebounding. Like, people don't understand that rebounds equate to more possessions, and more possessions equals more points. So that's why I hit the nail on the head with rebounding and being aggressive and pushing back. Like, there are so many times where Myles scores points and then just gives it up to the other guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, Myles can get off to a hot start against anybody. By the time the second half rolls around, like, everything Myles did gets canceled out by the guy that he's matching up against. And so I would agree. Like, and some of you aren't even wrong. Some of you are right in a sense where it's like, okay, Myles hasn't reached his peak yet. Yeah, you may be right, but with our team, he has, and that's what I've been trying to say for a very long time. Is the idea that, like, yeah, you know what, Myles could be better on another team. I think he would thrive on another team, a team where he just gets to stand out on the fucking 3-point line and shoot threes and maybe block a shot occasionally. Like, he would be a very, very good role player. Like, I'm just gonna call it what it is. Like, that's what Myles is on every other contending team in the fucking NBA. He's a great role player. But on our team, he's a starter. And Yancey even said to me, he's like, you'd be better off just trading him and getting draft picks for him and maybe trying to draft another center. Because, like, it's kind of sad that we got to watch rookie centers, guys like Jalen Duren, you know, like, even DeAndre Ayton, his first couple years, like, have been, like, at Myles Turner's level, like, almost immediately. And, like, I get why people, like I said, I get why people don't want DeAndre Ayton. I do. It's way more understandable than people not wanting Karl Anthony Towns. But it's just the idea, like, how many more centers do I gotta watch come in the league and be better than Myles? Like Chet Holmgren. Granted, we've only seen him play Summer League, but Chet Holmgren's probably going to be better than him at some point here within the next couple of years. Jalen Duren, I think, for sure is going to be better than him. And, like, I just think to myself, if we're really growing basketball here, if we can't sign big-name free agents, if we can't do all that crazy shit, then maybe we should trade him for draft picks. Maybe we should trade him for somebody who, like, can actually defend the fucking post. So I don't know, man. Like, I understand why people want to keep Myles, but at the same time, I think to myself, like, Myles is also part of the reason this team has not gone as far as it should have in the past 8 years. And people keep making, oh, well, he's still young, he's still this, he's still that. Yeah, you're right. But usually after, like I said, year 3, year 4, we know how good a player is going to be in the NBA. And at this point, if Myles is a 17-8 guy with Tyrese Halliburton, he's going to be a 17-8 guy with Tyrese Halliburton this upcoming year. And I'm going to end this video with saying this. All the excuses people have made for Myles, that, oh, he's always got to pick up the guard, he's always picking up other people's men, and stuff like that. Well, we're going to find out this year. This is the year. Like, this is the year we find out. Like, that's why the front office did this. They were like, okay, you know what? We're going to sign defense. We're going to add depth. We're going to add guys that can actually play some fucking defense. And we're going to see. We're going to see just how good Myles Turner is. Because he signed a 3-year contract. First year was just a salary increase, and then 2 years after that. So what's really going to happen is once we get into the start of the season, he's going to have 1 year left on his deal. And we're going to see. We're going to see what happens. Because I have a feeling by the trade deadline or the next offseason, if Myles can't improve to like a 20-10 guy, which is what we really need most, or like I would love to be wrong and Myles comes out and averages some fucking crazy shit like 22-13. I'd be like, okay, we got something to fuck with now. But like, I don't think that's going to happen. I think Myles is not going to improve the way people think because we just have too many mouths to feed now on offense. You know, we've got Tyrese, we've got Ben, who's obviously going to get looks. We have Obi Toppin now, who's going to get looks, and Tyrese is excited about him. Like, sorry, but Myles at this point is the low man on the totem pole, and he always ends up being the low man on the totem pole. That's the main reason I want to get rid of him. Like, that's the main reason I've been advocating to trade for him is because, like, he's a guy that has let so many other players surpass him usage-wise, skill-wise, that I'm just like, yeah, we keep him, but he's a feel-good player. We keep him for feel-good shit. That's why. And I get why he's kept, but at the same time, I don't understand why we don't let him go. And the idea that the front office has been trying to trade his ass for like 4 years now and still can't get what they're looking for him should say a lot to Pacers fans. So, anyway, that's it. That's what I gotta say. I did not expect to talk for 21 fucking minutes on this topic, but I'm just tired of people like acting like Myles Turner is untouchable when he's obviously, like, yeah, on our team, he's a starter, but on most teams in the NBA, like any bona fide contender that is doing what they're gonna do, he's a fucking role player. And like, people don't want to hear that. People don't want to hear that he's a rotational player because he blocks 3 shots a game and shoots threes, but that's what he is. You send him to any of the teams I mentioned. You send him to fucking Golden State. You send him to the Bucks. You send him to even Minnesota, like, he's a fucking rotational player. You send him to the Lakers even. The Lakers, he's a rotational player. He's a guy that's going to come off the bench. He's not starting over Anthony Davis. You know, like, I just think to myself, man, like, there's a lot going on, and wow, Jabari Smith Jr. just hit a game winner. All right, well, that's it. I'm just going to say it. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like helps me out. Subscribe if you guys want to see more on the Fast Break Report. And out of this motherfucker. Peace, guys.